Hello, this is Ferrado here, and today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of the new features that I'm including in version 1.7 of Step Counter. There's been a lot of things added since our last video, so today I'm going to be talking about this stuff. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is the new speed type button. So I'm going to use the aboleth to show how this works. Okay, so we got our aboleth here, and if you notice, currently he's set to walk. This is a toggle button. If you click it, it will swap between all the options. This aboleth has 10 feet of walk and 40 feet of swim. So his only options are going to be walk, swim, and climb. Different if there are more speeds or different speeds on the creature, they will all show up there. Don't worry, like, oh, you forgot fly. Nope, it's there. Okay, and as their speeds change, they will show up on the buttons. Okay, so for the aboleth, let's say we walk a little bit and we get to the water. We want to switch to swimming. So I hit swim, or I toggle through till I get to swim. In this case, swim was the first one I hit. You'll notice an arrow appeared, and his max speed changed to 40. So if I go back and I move him some more, so now he's swimming. So that's how that button works. I'm going to move him back so I can show the next thing. Okay, so there is a way to automate this. Here, actually, let me show you difficult terrain also, the manual method. So let's say instead of water, this was difficult terrain. So let's say I'm walking and I walk to here. You'll see 5 feet, 10 feet. So it's harder to tell because it's a large creature, but I moved him 10 feet and it shows he moved 10 feet. Now if I, actually let's do this again without the mouse. So I move him, okay, 5 feet and 10 feet. Now I hit the difficult button and the arrow appears. So if it wasn't already making, so I've got it set to automatically create a step when I let go of the mouse. But if you're using the keys or you don't have that option set, it would create the step for you. Now if you notice, it's going to use 10 feet each time I hit the up arrow. So currently it's at 15. So hit up, select him again, I hit up, and now it's 25. So now it's difficult terrain, 35. And if I hit the button again, it turns off. And now 30 feet, if I hit right, it's going to be 35. Select him, 35, 40, 45. So difficult terrain is off now. And if when I hit the button, we get another step. All right, so that's how you do those things manually. Let's put him back where he was. Okay, to automate this, I'm going to show you with the dragon. All right, let's bring up the dragon's window, speed window. Okay, so now he's currently set to walk, and this NPC here I've pre-created, but I'm going to show you how to do this in this video later on. But first I want to show you how it works. Suffice to say, you need aura effects to make this work. Equipped effects can speed up the process a little bit, but it's not strictly needed. Okay, so, and I'm also using auras visualized just so you can see the yellow square. All right. So if I take this black dragon, this time I'm going to use the mouse. No, I can use the keys. And he's walking. And if I move him through this area of difficult terrain that I've pre-configured as the DM, so 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20, and now I'm in difficult terrain, and it's set the the step, and now it's using additional, the button lit up, and it's using additional feet for each step. So 30, if I hit it again, it goes to 40, 50, and then as I get out of the difficult terrain, now it's back to normal, 70, 75, 80, and it shows where that occurred. So that's how you automate that. And we can also do this with the body of water and swimming. So let's actually, before I do that, let me show you something else. So this is smart, right? So if you're walking through difficult terrain, it's going to affect you, right? But let's say you fly over it. Now, if I fly over it, oh, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Well, I'll fix that. How did I must have broken that at some point. That was definitely working before. Let me just try this one more time. Make sure that I haven't. Yep, it's broken. Okay, so by the time this reaches live, this will be fixed again. But if you fly over difficult terrain, it won't count it as difficult terrain. Oh wait, is it actually? Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so it's not counting it as difficult terrain, but it's still leaving the little guys, the steps. So maybe I'll fix that. Maybe I won't. Anyway, so that's the thing I wasn't expecting, but there you go. So that's that. We can also do this with bodies of water. So if I let me get my other pre-made NPC in here. Let's see, NPCs. Where are you? NPCs. Body of water. Okay, body. Let's move this a little bit out of the way. Put a body of water here. Okay, so now I made this blue, just, it's body of water. Okay, so now I'm going to use Durin Stone Fist for this one. Okay, so Durin Stone Fist, let me make sure he's set to walk. He only has 1 speed, but I could make him climb or something like that. Here's a speed window. He is currently set to swim, so it's good I looked. Switch him to walk. Okay, so if I take him and I start walking and I reach this body of water, boom, it switches him to swim. And then he swims across the body of water. And if you notice, he does not have a swim speed. So as per 5e raw, it's using twice as much feet as it would normally. Okay, so then I get him out of the body of water. He's now walking again, and he's using the normal amount of movement. Okay, so it works for bodies of water and for difficult terrain. Now that I've shown you how that works, and same thing also, if we fly over, let me fly. Is it going to do the same thing? Yeah, it's leaving steps, but it's using the normal amount of speed. So I will fix that later. But it knows that if you're flying, not to switch it to swim. If you notice here, I'll go through it again. So I drag him through. See, look, it did not switch him to swim. So it's working. It's just leaving steps, which I will fix later. Okay, so that's how you automate that. Now, you're probably asking, well, how do I make those little NPCs? Okay, let's go through that. Okay, and I may include these NPCs, just the difficult terrain one and body of water one. But anyway, so the way we do this, okay, so you make any old NPC. I made it tiny just so that the little icon will use the least amount of space. This is the official GrimPress icon. You can use anything you want, obviously. And that's all you have to do. I've added an extra step of automation where it has a trait of body of water, And because we're using equipped effects, if we go into custom effects, there's an effect here called body of water. And if equipped effects, if an NPC has a trait, when you add it to the combat tracker, it looks in the equipped effects for any effect with that name, and it'll automatically add that effect when adding the NPC. Now, you don't have to do that. If you don't use equipped effects, you could just go in there and add this effect. I don't have to be all fancy with this. I could just be like, whatever name, aura, let's go 40 this time, and let's keep it a circle here. And then we don't even need to give it a name, just say speed swimming. And it's going to have the same effect. So let's grab our ape here. Our ape is walking. That's what we want. We move him in, switches to swim. So, and it's the same thing with difficult terrain, but instead of speed : space swimming, our command is speed : space difficult. All right, and I've got a fancy one here that are pre-made: difficult terrain, or a 20 cube, all yellow. The yellow obviously makes the yellow square, cube makes it square. Difficult terrain is just to give it a name, AoE difficult terrain. So when it shows up on the I'm basically teaching you how to use aura effects right now. When it shows up on the NPC going into the aura, it'll say AoE difficult terrain instead of just speed difficult. So yeah, that's how you make those NPCs. Okay, so let's get rid of this clutter now, so I can teach you the next thing. All right, so that is the new speed types and the new difficult terrain and the new NPCs that you can use to mark off bodies of water and difficult terrain. There's another new tag I added. This is basically for one spell that I'm aware of in 5e. There's probably other uses for this. So difficult terrain, if you know the raw rules of difficult terrain and swimming, if you don't have a swim speed, it uses an extra foot for each foot that you move. In difficult terrain, it uses an extra foot for each foot. There are some effects that aren't difficult terrain or swimming or climbing, that they're just direct. It uses extra extra movement. So I added a new tag called extra. So if we say speed : 4 extra, what this is going to do is when the aboleth moves, instead of every foot counting as 1 foot, every foot counts as 5 feet. So if we move this aboleth now, look, one spot and he moved 30 feet. So that's how that works. I think the use case spell for that, it's like a, I'm sorry, I forget the name of the spell, but there is a spell that does that in 5e. So I added that new tag. Oh, and I wanted to let's talk about teleportation. So before, only the DM could do this. So let's use Durin Stonefist. Okay, so I move him over here, and let's say he teleports somewhere, and you don't want him to use up any movement, right? You hold shift and drag him over. You can notice that he's got tele. This is just to let you know how far you're teleporting, because mini spells have a limit to how far you can teleport. Let go, and if you look, he's still 17.5 feet, and it shows where I left off. So this is start. This is step 1, 17.5 feet, and if I move him again, step 2, but still 17.5 feet, and now he's moved another 37. So that's teleporting. Before that was DM only. Now players can do this, but DMs can take away permission. So if I bring up the options for step counter here, so allow players to teleport on. Okay, so if I turn this off, they won't be able to do it. We're on the DM side, so it's not going to change anything if I switch that. Okay, so that's teleporting. No, I guess I'll go into this now. Okay, so the next thing that I've changed or that I've added is a right-click menu for tokens. I've done my best not to interfere with other extensions that, excuse me, that do right-click menus. Please let me know if you find an extension that I'm stepping on. No pun intended. Okay, so if you go into the right-click menu, we've got step counter. We can open the speed menu from here. We can open the speed menu from here? Question mark. Oh, it was hiding. Okay, so here, let's just double check, make sure that's actually working. That is not working. Okay, that's another thing I need to fix. Don't worry, it'll be working before it goes live. Okay, so we've got lots of options here. So if let's say I'm using the keys, and I want to create a step. Wow. Okay. Got another broken one here. Clearly, I made this video a little early. Okay, so let's check if undo step is working here. Let's make some steps. Yeah, undo step's not working either. Okay. I promise you that was working before. It will work again. I have a new option here that wasn't there before, return to start, which also, I may have screwed up the whole right click menu here. We can also dash from here, which is also not working. What that normally would do is drop an effect here for dash, which will automatically increase the speed on Duran Stonefist here. Okay, so those are those options. We can also do our speed type and our difficult terrain from here. Let's see if those are working. You've got some live diagnosis going on here. Okay, so if we change this to currently he's walking, I switch it to climb. Also not working. All right, so nothing's working here. I'll get that fixed. Don't you worry. We can also turn difficult terrain on and off. Not working. And we have GM tools, which is why I brought this up now. Okay, so let's say we have allow teleport off, but whoever our player is who's controlling Duran Stonefist is like, hey, I would like to Misty Step. I'm like, oh, I've got that turned off. Let me turn it on for you. So allow teleport. And it's going to store something in the database that says this creature can teleport. So until you turn it off, he can teleport all he wants. And we can also do the reverse. Let's say we've got teleporting turning on, and we've got a player that's just abusing it. We can go in here, and we can say forbid teleport. Now, I've also added the same thing for movement limit because we have the exact same thing going on for movement limit. So right now I like keeping enforced movement limitations off. It's really a pain when I'm doing testing. But if you normally run with this on, you can make an exception for somebody for whatever. I mean, who knows? All sorts of things happen that you have to make exceptions as a GM. So you can allow to exceed movement limit, and until you turn it off again, they'll have no movement limit. So like right now, well, it's probably not working because none of the right click buttons are working. But yeah, that will be working. Don't worry. And then same thing with if you go the other direction. So let's say you have, normally you have enforce movement limitations off, but you want to make a one-time exception that you want this person to be limited to, or this creature, because this also works for the GM. I like to have these things on for the GM because when I'm controlling a bunch of creatures, I don't want to remember like what is the creature speed, blah blah blah. I like being able to just like dragging it to max distance and let the extension stop me, and then I can move on with life and go to the next thing. So you can also make exceptions there in either direction. So that covers, I think, all of the. Oh, flag is teleporting now. Okay, so that's a. So if the holding shift to teleport, you don't like it for whatever reason, doesn't work for you, or it's a little funky on the player side because shift is something different for the DM. So we can also flag as teleporting now, and of course it's not going to work because none of my right buttons are working. But it would show up like I was teleporting, and then it'll end when you create a step. As soon as you create a step, it'll recognize that you've teleported, and it'll end the teleporting condition, I guess you could call it. So that's that. I'm wondering, is it only the one creature? No. So, that's it. Oh, by the way, there's another quick and easy way to teleport. If you're the DM, if you don't want to hold shift, or if you just think this is easier for whatever reason, let's say I want to move Durin and then want to teleport him over here. I can just make a new token. So if I grab his token and drop him there, it treats that as a teleport. So this also works teleporting from map to map, just so you're aware. Okay, the last and final thing I wanted to talk about that's new is what I call smart selection. Okay, so let's bring these in a little closer to each other for demonstration purposes. Okay, so let's say I'm the DM, or I'm a player that has control of all these characters for whatever reason. I can select, by the way, I'm holding shift to multi-select. You can also do this from the map button. This is default FGU. This is not part of my extension. So there's selection mode. I can multi-select here. It's the same thing as holding shift and clicking. Okay, so now that I've got multiple selected, if I drag and drop, look at that. It's making steps for everybody, right? Okay, I can do this with teleporting. I can do this with difficult terrain. Let's say let's drop a, okay, so let's say I make a difficult terrain. It's going to be an off hotkey. Now let's make an on hotkey. I can now do this. Let's see. Let's bring up all these windows here. See, this is the ape, Ella, Lara, and we've got Durin. All right, let's make sure they're all the same for demonstration purposes. Okay, so right now they're all difficult terraining. I'm going to use the keys. Okay, so we're moving difficult terrain here. And now I say difficult terrain off. And it didn't work for the ape, or the ape's not, that's not the ape, that's the acolyte. Whew, thought I found another bug. Okay, acolyte, there we go. So now they're all off. I go again, I could turn them on. So all this smart selection stuff works for all the hotkeys. It works for, you know, anything other than right click, because the right click menu is for an individual token. But if you're teleporting, you're using the hotkeys, you're using these buttons up here at the top of the map, they all use smart selection. So yeah, that covers everything. Apologies for the right click menu not working. It will be working before this goes live. Okay, thank you.